In today's news, Charity Rymer becomes the very first Virgin Islander to speak in the House of Commons. Walker's barrister, Akeem Robinson, called to the BVI bar. Dr. Pickering says that a by-election in the 1st District was never possible. He says Fahie cannot be removed unless he resigns. Social commentator Cindy Rosan shares BVI political climate to the region, and the BVI Stars men and women softball teams are hosting a fundraising initiative for an upcoming tournament. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Welcome everybody. It is Friday, November 4th, 2022. A fantastic Friday to each and every one of you. I'm Ron Grant, coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 News. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, a very positive note. Akeem Robinson has been called to the BVI bar. Walkers say they are delighted to announce that the BVI Bar Association, that is, has welcomed a new local barrister to its ranks, which is Akeem Robinson. Robinson was called to the bar of the Eastern Supreme Court by the Honorable Acting Justice Jean M. Dyer at a hearing held at Sakal Place, Rotown, Tortola, British Virgin Islands on the 20th of October 2022. Akeem's application was moved by Walker's associate, Ronell Benjamin, and supported by the former Minister of Education and Culture of Government of the Virgin Islands and Travers Thorpe Algebra partner, Mr. Myron V. Walwyn. Ronell drew the Honorable Acting Justice Dyer's attention to Akeem's determination and ambition, as well as his excellent academic credentials and qualifications, which rendered him a fit for proper person and admission for a barrister. Now, Akeem was born and raised in Rotown, Tortola. He undertook his tertiary education at the H. Lavistout Community College, where he obtained an associate in arts in general studies with a concentration in education. Akeem then pursued a Bachelor of Arts degree in business administration with a concentration in finance and a minor in psychology at Morehouse College in the United States, where he was inducted into numerous honor societies and graduated cum laude, turning his mind into a career to law. Akeem then undertook the graduate diploma in law and the barrister training course at the University of Law at BPP University with a commendation and a merit grade respectively. Akeem is a former National Scholarship recipient and was also the first awardee of the Walker's BVI Office Legal Scholarship. This award enabled Akeem to pursue his legal qualifications. Akeem was subsequently called to the Utter Bar of England and Wales by the Honourable Society of Garys Inn in July 2022, and more recently to the Utter Bar of Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Virgin Islands Circuit in October of 2022. Now, in supporting Akeem's application for admission, Mr. Walwyn submitted that it came as no surprise, and indeed he was well pleased, that Akeem has decided to pursue a career in law given his natural abilities. Mr. Walwyn went on to highlight his academic achievements and challenge Akeem to use his education as a force for good, helping the community in whatever way he could, a charge which Akeem unhesitantly accepted. Akeem, in his own address to the court, expressed gratitude to his village of family, friends, and firm, namely his parents Rosalind Letsom and Cuthbert Robinson, Myron V. Walwyn, Dancia Penn OBE, KC, Lisa Penn Letsom, Ryan Gulek, the Walkers team generally, and in particular David Collins and Monique Robinson Pickering, as well as other family members, mentors, and close friends. Akeem is currently undertaking pupillage with Walker's BVI under Walker's partner Monique
Robinson Pickering, and Rosalind Nicholson. He is seated with Associate Renell Benjamin, who is acting as his pupil master. Now, viewers, walkers say they are delighted that Akeem has chosen to train with them and proud to be supporting him at the start of what believes to be a promising and brilliant career. Miss Charity Rymer created history for the British Virgin Islands moments earlier today as she became the first Virgin Islander to speak in the United Kingdom's House of Commons. Rymer was invited to attend a special segment of the UK's Youth Parliament as they sat for the first time 2019 since the COVID-19 pandemic. She spoke on the topic of climate change and the impact it has had on the British Virgin Islands. Take a look.
And that strong sense of local political history. Thank you.
The British Virgin Islands.
Mr. Speaker, the summer of 2017 was a summer that changed the life of every young person in the Virgin Islands, myself included. What should have been a fun-filled holiday turned into a matter of life and death. Within the space of 6 weeks, we experienced severe flooding due to heavy rainfall and widespread destruction from not one, but 2 Category 5 hurricanes, Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. Mr. Speaker, it is territories like the British Virgin Islands, whose carbon footprint is almost non-existent, who are the ones that will now suffer the most from the environmental challenges the world now faces. In fact, for 6 months of the year, the threat of an active hurricane season is always looming over our shores. And the reminder of the terror and destruction that the hurricanes and floods of the summer of 2017 brought to us has resulted in a growing mental health challenge amongst our population, particularly within our youth. For many months after I was evacuated, I could not have helped but imagine the people that I'd left behind, those with no school, no roofs over their heads, and those, quite frankly, those with no hope. Life as they knew it had changed forever. But the future and sustainability of our islands rests with us, the youth, to mitigate against the effects of climate change. The youth will have a heavy, costly burden to bear. Our inheritance is an ever-increasing bill to rebuild our territory with every natural disaster that pays us an unwelcome visit. Climate change sweeps across all aspects of the lives of the Virgin Islands youth. Our education, our food security, our paths to employment and entrepreneurship, our mental and physical health. But even though the future is uncertain, I am still hopeful, for even though we are small, we are mighty. Thank you.
Montserrat.
United Kingdom Speaker in the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hawley, invited young Virgin Islanders to submit applications to the BVI London office to be considered for this very unique opportunity. On the directive of the chairman of the Virgin Islands Youth Parliament, the Honorable Sharibi de Castro, candidates were interviewed by a panel consisting of the members of the Virgin Islands Youth Parliament and its secretariat, and Rymer was selected as the successful candidate. Now, I am so honored to have been able to start this newscast on 2 very positive notes, highlighting the success of young Virgin Islanders, that is Mr. Akeem Robinson and Miss Charity Rymer. Viewers, when 284 News returns, Dr. Pickering says that a by-election in the 1st District was never possible, and he further says that Fahie cannot be removed unless he resigns. And the BVI Stars men and women softball travel teams are hosting a fundraising initiative for an upcoming tournament. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anegada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a Generation of Greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over! CCT Fire is here! Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Continuing on local news, a former Deputy Premier of the Virgin Islands and medical professional Dr. Pickering has broken his silence on whether former Premier Andrew Foy can be forcibly ousted as the 1st District Representative, stating that there was never going to be a by-election within the District 1 as the member cannot be removed under the current circumstances. Dr. Pickering touched on the subject during a public meeting held in Virgin Gorda last evening as part of his campaign ahead of the next general election, which he says he intends to contest as a territorial at-large representative. He called out the Government of National Unity for what he described to be false claims after it was first announced that Foy could be removed from the House of Assembly after missing at least 3 consecutive sittings without the approval of the Speaker of the House.
For those of you who are purists who want to understand, there could never have been an election. There could only have been an election if the representative, the elected representative for the district resigns. If he doesn't resign, they can't remove him. Don't mind what you hear. There's no legal mechanism for recall in this country.
The former 7th District Representative also pointed to the BVI's constitution, which states that an elected member other than resigning can only be removed by death or if becoming incapacitated.
The only people who can remove an elected representative are the people who voted that representative in. Nobody else can remove a person who was elected. The Constitution clearly states how a person can be removed from office by death or if that person becomes incapacitated. There's no other mechanism in this country. All that talk that you heard about they're going to have meetings in the House of Assembly and they're going to have 3 consecutive meetings and then 4 will be voted out, it was never going to be possible. All of a sudden they suddenly realized it was just a lot of talk.
Dr. Pickering also sought to explain the purpose of the House of Assembly's standing orders and the role of the Speaker. He said the Speaker's decision to not accept any further notices of exemption from House of Assembly sittings from Foy does hold any weight, adding that the former Premier already did what he was required under the law.
The standing orders of the House of Assembly are rules and regulations that have been established by members of the House for themselves. The standing orders are put there in place to ensure that the members of the House conduct their business. So there are members of government, there are members of the opposition, and you agree in principle that we are going to play by these rules. Just like any sport, there are referees. The Speaker of the House is a referee. The Speaker of the House only have one responsibility, to look after members' interests. The Speaker of the House can't put out a member. The members can put out the Speaker because the members put the Speaker there. So there was never going to be any way they could remove Foy because he did what he had to do, informing the Speaker that he was going to miss the House sitting. The Speaker can determine whether she accept or he accept what the reason is. The rules clearly just simply say that you have to inform the Speaker at the appointed time that you're not going to be attending a meeting. So there's no legal mechanism for removing the member for the 1st District. Don't mind all that talk. So now all of a sudden you're hearing there is not going to be any by-election. There was never going to be a by-election. We have a general election coming up. And that is what we must concern ourselves about.
Dr. Pickering called on residents to place all their focus on the upcoming general elections, stating that it is going to be one of the most important in the history of the British Virgin Islands. Just last Friday, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley announced that it was highly unlikely that there will be a by-election in the 1st District for Foy's seat, which he said will be vacated at the end of the next sitting of the House of Assembly. Continuing on local news. On Saturday, November 5th, the BVI Stars men and women's softball travel teams will be hosting a fun day of games and activities for children and families as part of a fundraising initiative to attend the Kings and Queens Fast Pitch Tournament in St. Croix, USVI later this month. Now, the event is slated to commence from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the E. Walwyn Bruley Ballpark in Roe Town and will include a number of outdoor activities. Providing details on the initiative was General Secretary of the BVI Softball and Baseball Association, Miss Bria Smith.
For this fundraiser in particular, on Saturday, 5th November, the Children's Fun Day will include a number of fun activities like a bouncy castle, carnival-like games, dunk-a-player, and more. We will also have a car wash for persons who just wish to have their cars washed on that day, or for the parents who are waiting while their children are playing or participating in the fun day. We will also have snacks and drinks on sale, and this will take place from 1 to 4 p.m. In the evening on that same Saturday, we will be continuing our fundraising efforts with an adult game night with competitive domino games, trivia games, Culture Shock, which is a local game by Kyra James, Uno, Flip Cup, Bear Pong, and so much more. Drinks and snacks will also be on sale at this fundraiser as well.
Smith also provided details on the measures that will have to be taken to guarantee participation in the events, as she encouraged the entire BVI population to come out and support the two traveling teams.
No, the games and activities for both events will be purchased at a ticketing booth at the E. Walwyn Bruley Ballpark when attendees come to participate. Now, while the price per token is $1, the price for the different games and or activities will differ depending on which activity they're participating in and for how long. For better explanation, this process will resemble the way that we purchase tickets and tokens when we're participating in Coney Island during festival time. We're just really encouraging persons to come out and support the BVI Stars travel team, as it's not only a community-based event for persons to be able to do and have something to be active with over the weekend, but it also aids in helping the BVI Stars travel team to raise the funds they need to compete in the Inter-Island Kings and Queens tournament.
Smith also provided some background history on the annual tournament, which she said has been taking place for a number of years.
So every year, the Greater Virgin Islands, that is the BVI, St. Thomas, and St. Croix, host the Kings and Queens Fast Pitch Tournament in honor of the two Virgin Islands' long-standing camaraderie and love for the sport of softball. Now, this tournament has been hosted for a number of years and is a competitive tournament where the winners not only return home with the trophy, but also bragging rights. The host of the tournament rotates among the three main islands, that's Tortola or Virgin Gorda, or just the BVI on a whole, St. Thomas, and St. Croix. But this year, St. Croix will be hosting the tournament from November 18th through the 21st, and the Virgin Islands Softball Association has sanctioned a men and women's travel team that's being recognized as the BVI Stars to be able to compete in the tournament to represent the BVI.
The teams also are traveling to seek sponsorship and donations from the business community. Viewers, when 284 News returns, social commentator Cindy Rosan shares BVI political climate to the region, and we pan across to Guyanna where they commence a COI into controversial 2022 general and regional elections. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer.
You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you,
Dad, this thing got me staying home. Keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Viewers, welcome back. Social commentator Cindy Rosan recently took to the regional stage of the Carib Update program to share her views regarding the current social and political environment within the territory of the Virgin Islands. A key aspect of this discussion was, of course, the stirring of recent arrests involving public officers, with the most recent being former Education Minister Myron Walwyn. Rosan told Carib Update's Clarissa Ferrer that within the current environment, Walwyn's arrest was no surprise.
Well, based on the climate and the investigations that BOI recommends, I think we are not surprised that the minister was arrested. I mean, another member of public office was arrested in the same case last week. So we did expect that this could be a possibility.
Rosan went on to express the view that it is currently, as it currently stands, that is, the charge of breach of trust is being blanketed over arrest within the investigation into the Elmore-Stout High School perimeter wall.
Normally, across the world, that's a very serious charge. What we're seeing in the BVI right now is that that broad brush is being used across all arrests that appear to be taking place at the moment. Every charge that is brought is a breach of trust. So we're looking at it as a broad brush at the moment.
As for the trajectory she sees the territory taking in this regard, Rosan says that based on what she is seeing, more arrests are likely.
I definitely don't want to preempt and call names. I mean, that would be based on my opinion anyway. But based on what we're seeing and based on the particular ministries and other projects that are under investigation, I foresee that we'll have a few more arrests, and I could see maybe a couple sitting members of the House of Assembly actually being arrested.
Walwyn is the third individual to be arrested as a result of investigations into the high school perimeter wall project. Prior to that, Kelvin Thomas and public officer Lorna Stevens were similarly arrested and charged. Panning across the region, over 2 years since the controversial March 2020 general and regional elections in Guyana, a highly anticipated presidential commission of inquiry has commenced into investigating the event. The commission is chaired by retired Justice of Appeal of the Turks and Caicos Stanley John, and its investigation is expected to include about 20 witnesses who have been chosen to share their observations of the election day and the 5 months of uncertainty which followed until official results were declared in August of that year. Now, according to John, the commission is tasked with determining what, if anything, was done to obstruct process of counting, ascertainment, and tabulation of votes and the declaration of results in Electoral District Number 4. The commission will also explore the conduct of the chief election officer and other officials who came under scrutiny as a result of what occurred.
It is a matter of public knowledge that the tabulation and verification process for declaring the outcome of those elections were mired in intense controversy, unprecedented in the history of Guyana. Consequentially, Guyana experienced a 5-month delay before the results of the elections were declared. This attracted criticism and condemnation from a wide array of global players, including international observer missions, diplomats, international organizations, the United Nations, the Commonwealth Secretary General, the OAS General Secretariat, the European Union, the CARICOM, and many more.
This is a job which John stressed is not to be taken lightly.
It is a responsibility that I and my fellow commissioners intend to discharge carefully, with professionalism, efficiency, thoroughness, fairness, objectivity, and impartiality. We are aware that much has been said about these events by many people from diverse places and organizations. But it must be borne in mind that this inquiry has no case to prove. It is interested in the truth and in fair conclusions based on the evidence properly analyzed.
Other members of the Commission are Acting Justice of Appeal of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Godfrey Smith, and former Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana, Carl Singh. Now, the commissioners assured that the public that the proceedings will be conducted expeditiously, but will be of the utmost care. They will also be open to the public and broadcast live to all interested in viewing. Evidence will be led by Senior Counsel Sophia Cato. Following voting day in 2020, the coalition government was accused of conspiring with several others to change the outcome of the election in favor of their government leader, David Granger. Those involved, including Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Mayers, and Returning Officer Claremont Mingo. The three each face separate legal action after being stripped of their duties with Guyana's Election Commission. While questions continue to linger on whether or not the outcome of the presidential COI could cause the state to discontinue the charges against the trio, Vice President Barrett Jadego said that this was an unlikely outcome, particularly in the case of the Lowenfield, who was slapped with 3 charges of misconduct in public office and 3 counts of forgery. What is certain at the moment we know is that the COI should result in a suite of recommendations as seen fit by the commissioners, which are necessary to allow the Guyana Elections Commission to discharge its statutory functions in a manner which is impartial, fair, and compliant with the Constitution and relevant legislation. Commissioners hope to complete hearings by January of 2023 and submit their report by March that same year. More will come as the story develops, and we will keep you informed. Viewers, that is it for today's News Roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook and Twitter as well as Instagram. We thank you so much for rocking with us for this entire week. I'm Ron Grant reporting for 284 News. Have a happy Friday and a beautiful rest of the day. I will see you tomorrow for the Weekend News Roundup. Bye-bye.
How may I assist you? Yes. You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?